Whenever I feel like quitting, like nothing's working, like everything's stacked against me, I stop, I take a breath, and I remind myself, I know this feeling. I've been here before, and I've gotten through it. You see, we all hit that wall. Whether you're chasing a goal, balancing too much at once, or simply trying to keep it together when life throws everything your way, the pressure builds, and you want to give up. But what if I told you there's a better way to handle it? A mindset that's been tested for over 2,000 years? The Stoics were not passive philosophers sitting in ivory towers. They were warriors, emperors, workers, parents, people with responsibilities, real lives, and constant challenges. And yet, they didn't fold. They didn't quit. They thrived. So how did they do it? It wasn't motivation. It wasn't magic. It was a set of daily habits, practical, repeatable, grounded in reality. They lived by principles that made them stronger, steadier, and more focused, no matter what chaos surrounded them. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this episode on daily Stoic habits. There's a saying from an ancient philosopher: pity the person who faces every day as if it's the first time they've seen it. Because without structure, without wisdom, without daily practices to guide you, every problem feels new, every choice feels heavy, and every moment feels out of control. But when you have habits, when you've trained yourself to respond instead of react, you become unshakable. So today I want to share 8 Stoic habits that have changed my life. These are things I try to do every day, no matter where I am, no matter what's happening. They help me write better, think clearer, live fuller, and they can help you too. Let's start with the first one. It's not a quote or a mantra, it's a mindset shift, and it begins the moment you want to give up. Habit number 1. Begin before you feel ready. You know that moment when everything inside you says, I can't do this right now. That moment when you're tired, distracted, overwhelmed, or maybe just scared. That's the moment to start. One of the most life-changing habits I've built, one that Stoic thinkers lived by, is this: start anyway. Start before you're ready. Start small, but just start. The Stoics didn't wait for motivation to strike. They didn't need ideal circumstances. In fact, they expected things to be hard. But they understood something most of us overlook. Action generates clarity, not the other way around. So when I feel like quitting, when the weight of a project or a challenge feels too heavy, I stop and say to myself, I know this feeling. I've been here before. And then I move. I act. Even if it's just one small step, one sentence on the page, one walk around the block, one honest conversation. Because once you take action, you're no longer stuck in your head. You've broken the loop. You've chosen movement over stagnation. And that is exactly where resilience begins. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. That means your beliefs don't matter unless you live them. And the only way to live them is to act, again and again, especially when it's hard. I don't wait for perfect energy or a perfect morning or the perfect plan. I go for a walk. I write a paragraph. I clean one drawer. I make the call. One action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. This habit is deceptively simple, but it's a game changer. It teaches you to push through resistance. It builds trust in yourself. Because every time you take action, especially when you don't feel ready, you prove something powerful. You're capable of more than you think. And once that belief starts to take root, everything else begins to shift. Now that we've started, let's talk about the next habit, something that grounds me every day and clears my mind like nothing else. It's not complicated. In fact, it's one of the most ancient tools of clarity, and yet most people never use it the right way. Habit number 2. Go for a walk and leave your phone behind. It sounds too simple to matter, right? But walking without distractions, is one of the most powerful habits you can cultivate. The Stoics knew it. Modern science confirms it. And once you start doing it regularly, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Every day, without fail, I go for a walk. Sometimes it's just around my neighborhood, sometimes through the trees with my kids, sometimes across a parking lot while traveling. It doesn't have to be scenic, it doesn't have to be long, but it has to happen. And here's the key: no phone. Why? Because that little device in your pocket is a portal to everything except your own mind. When you walk without it, something shifts. Your breathing slows, your thoughts loosen, your senses reawaken. You begin to hear yourself again. Nietzsche once said, "Only thoughts reached by walking have value." And Seneca agreed, warning that the mind breaks like an anvil when it isn't allowed to rest. He believed the brain, like a field, needs time to lie fallow before it can grow anything worth harvesting. Walking gives you that space. For me, it's not just movement. It's meditation. It's clarity. It's time with my children. It's time to be outside, to reconnect with the natural rhythm of the world, to notice the clouds, the sound of gravel underfoot, the breeze brushing past my face. That's where perspective comes back. When you walk often, you begin to associate motion with peace. It becomes a reset button, a moving sanctuary. And gradually, the stress that once felt so heavy begins to lift. But here's the deeper reason this habit matters. It separates you from the noise. We live in a world that bombards us with updates, messages, opinions, alerts, and obligations. Your body might be standing still, but your mind is constantly running, burning energy, processing chaos. Walking, especially alone, brings stillness back to your soul. It's an ancient ritual of the Stoics, the poets, the thinkers, and it's available to you right now every day. So if you feel stuck, anxious, or overwhelmed, don't overcomplicate it. Lace up your shoes, step outside, and just walk. Breathe, observe. Let your mind wander without needing to do anything. The next insight will come. It always does. And once your mind is clear, once you've stepped away from the noise of the world, it becomes much easier to focus on the one thing that matters most in Stoicism: daily progress. Let's explore that next. Habit number 3. Focus on daily progress. Not perfection. Let me be honest with you. I've written multiple books, built things I'm proud of. But if there's one truth I've learned, it's this: none of it happened in one grand moment. It happened one small step at a time. That's the third Stoic habit. Commit to daily progress, not perfection. Not overnight success, not heroic leaps. Just quiet, steady effort. Day in, day out. In a world obsessed with speed and instant results, this habit is revolutionary. We're constantly told to hustle, to scale fast, to go big or go home. But the Stoics knew better. They understood that greatness, true, lasting greatness, is the result of small, consistent actions over time. Marcus Aurelius said it best: assemble your life, action by action. Not dream by dream, not goal by goal, action by action. So, that's what I do. Every single day I show up to the page. I try to move the work forward, even just a little. Some days it's great, other days it's not. But the only rule I follow is this: progress over perfection. Seneca wrote that wisdom itself is acquired step by step, experience by experience. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, said well-being comes in small steps, but it is no small thing. And that's true for anything worth pursuing. Whether it's your health, your relationships, your craft, or your peace of mind. Small steps done daily are what build something real. It's like compounding interest, but for your soul. And here's the beauty of it. When you let go of perfection, you free yourself to actually start. You don't wait for motivation. You don't wait for inspiration. You just show up, do the work, and trust the process. The Stoics never claimed that life would be easy. They claimed that you could become strong, and the way to become strong is through repetition. Practice, discipline, self-respect. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by a goal that seems too far away, zoom in. Forget the finish line. Just take the next right step today. Even if it's small, especially if it's small. Because every time you choose progress, you're building something unshakable within yourself. Now you might be thinking, what's the point of all this effort? Why push forward every day if life is so uncertain? If nothing lasts? And that's where the next Stoic habit comes in. It's one of the most humbling, grounding, and liberating truths you can carry in your heart. Habit number 4. Remember you will die. Let that set you free. It's uncomfortable, maybe even morbid. But it's one of the most powerful ideas the Stoics ever gave us. Memento mori. Remember, you will die, not to make you afraid, not to make you depressed, but to bring you back to the truth, back to what matters. The Stoics repeated this phrase constantly, not because they were obsessed with death, but because they knew how easily we forget life, how easily we take things and people for granted, how easily we waste time, hold grudges, chase meaningless status, and stress over things that, in the end, mean nothing. I once told myself I'd reply to a friend's email on Monday. I saw it Friday, pushed it to the side. I'll get back to it next week. But by Sunday, he was gone. A heart attack, no warning, no second chance. That's what memento mori means. Not just that you could leave life right now, but that anyone could. Your partner, your child, your parents, your best friend. They're not promised to you. Nothing is. You don't own time, you rent it, and the rent is due every moment. So ask yourself, if this were your last conversation with someone you love, would you be proud of the words you said? If today were your last day, would you spend it scrolling, complaining, stressing over a flight delay, a bad meeting, or something someone said online? Marcus Aurelius put it bluntly, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. It's not a gloomy thought, it's a freeing one. It means forgive faster. Say, I love you more often. Put the phone down. Watch the sunset. Call your parents. Let go of the petty things. Be here. Now. Memento mori strips away the noise. It brings clarity to confusion. It reminds you that the only thing that truly belongs to you is this moment, and how you choose to live it. And when you carry that awareness with you, everything changes. You stop rushing. You stop pretending you have forever. You stop wasting time on things and people that don't nourish your soul. You start living. Now, carrying this mindset doesn't mean you withdraw from life. Quite the opposite. It means you engage more fully, more deeply, with gratitude, with presence, with purpose. But how do you balance living like you'll die tomorrow with building something that lasts? That's where the next Stoic habit takes root. Habit number 5. Serve something bigger than yourself. It's easy to think Stoicism is all about inner peace, about self-control, about tuning out the noise and staying calm no matter what. And yes, that's part of it. But it's not the whole picture. Because real Stoicism, living Stoicism, is not just about what you do for yourself. It's about what you do for others. The 5th Stoic habit is this. Live in service of something bigger than you, not just for your own gain, not just to get ahead, but to contribute, to stand for something, to make your corner of the world a little more just, a little more kind, a little more whole. Marcus Aurelius said, the fruit of this life is good character and acts for the common good. That's it. That's the goal. Not success, not admiration, not more followers or more stuff, but character and contribution. In a time when self-help is often self-centered, this idea cuts deep, because it reminds you, the world does not revolve around your mood, your plans, your ambition. You are a thread in something larger, a citizen in a community, a member of the human race. And here's the paradox. When you live for others, you become stronger, more grounded, more fulfilled. Because the most resilient purpose is one that doesn't end with you. Justice is one of the 4 Stoic virtues. It means fairness, integrity, responsibility. It means helping even when it's inconvenient, standing up even when it's hard, doing the right thing, not because you'll be rewarded, but because it's right. So if you're serious about Stoicism, ask yourself, where am I being called to serve? What injustice can I help ease? How can I use my time, my talent, my voice, not just for me, but for someone else? The Stoic is not a cold, emotionless figure. The Stoic is the parent who shows up, the friend who listens, the neighbor who helps, the leader who tells the truth, the stranger who chooses kindness over convenience. Stoicism is not a shield to hide behind. It's a foundation you stand on so you can lift others up. So yes, take care of yourself. Cultivate wisdom. Find peace within. But once you do, don't stop there. Share it. Live it. Use it. Because that's where philosophy stops being a theory and starts becoming a legacy. And that brings us to the next habit, one that tests everything we've talked about so far. A habit forged not in theory, but in sweat, strain, and resistance. Habit number 6. Train your endurance. Strength is built in the struggle. If you've ever pushed your body to its limit, run until your legs burned, lifted until your arms trembled, hiked until your mind begged you to turn back. You've felt it. That moment. When everything says stop, and a small voice inside you whispers, keep going. That voice is what Stoicism trains, and endurance is how you sharpen it. The 6th Stoic habit is this. Build endurance. Train your ability to persist. Because life isn't a sprint. It's a long, winding path, filled with setbacks, slow progress, and stretches where nothing seems to work, until it does. That's why I run. That's why I lift. That's why I go out into the elements and move my body when it would be easier to stay inside, not to look good, not to chase a number, but to condition my mind. Because in every hard workout, every long-distance push, I face the same mental lies life throws at me. This is too much. You can't do this. Why? Even try? And I've learned to respond, I know this feeling. I faced it before. It's not true. The Stoics spoke of hardship as training. Epictetus compared the mind to a money changer who learns to spot counterfeit coins. Over time, you know the difference between real limitation and a lie your brain tells you when things get uncomfortable. When you train your body to endure, you train your spirit to stay steady. You learn to distinguish between fatigue and failure, between fear and truth. You begin to understand that your mind quits long before your body actually has to. And more than that, you carry that endurance back into your everyday life, into your work, when a project drags on and progress is invisible, into your relationships when things feel stuck or strained, into your goals when success feels just out of reach. Endurance builds a mindset that says, I don't stop when it's hard. I stop when it's done. That's what the Stoics did. Marcus Aurelius wasn't just an emperor. He was a soldier, a horseman, a hunter, a wrestler. He believed physical hardship strengthened moral resilience. So don't underestimate this habit. Don't call it just exercise, it's training for life. And if you've never felt proud of yourself for pushing past your limits even just once, I'll say this. You're missing one of the greatest teachers Stoicism has to offer. But remember, there's a flip side to endurance. Something just as powerful and far more fragile. Something we lose so easily in the rush of doing, striving, building. It's time. Habit number 7. Don't take people for granted. They're on loan. There's a Stoic teaching that hits harder the older you get. The people you love are not yours. They are not permanent. They are not guaranteed. They are with you for now. And that now is more fragile than we ever want to admit. That's the 7th habit. Live as if the people you love are on loan because they are. I learned this in the hardest way. A friend of mine emailed me on a Friday. I saw it. I told myself, I'll write back on Monday. By Sunday, he was gone. A sudden heart attack. No chance to say anything. No second reply. And just like that, the conversation ended. Forever. That's when the Stoics remind us, you do not possess those you love. You simply have the privilege of experiencing them for a while. So what do we do with that truth? We cherish people. We forgive them faster. We speak our love more freely. We let go of the arguments that won't matter a year from now. let alone a lifetime. You see, memento mori doesn't only mean you could die at any moment. It means they could too. Your partner, your child, your parents, your friend, the barista you always chat with, the neighbor you wave to but rarely speak to. They're not yours. You don't have them. They're with you for now. That's all. So, stop waiting for a better time to say something kind. Stop assuming you'll get another holiday, another phone call, another hug. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Wake you up to what really matters. Wake you up to how precious and temporary connection is. Wake you up to the simple, sacred power of presence. When Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think," he didn't just mean for you to live differently. He meant for you to love differently, to walk through the world with open hands, not clenched fists, to hold people loosely, but love them deeply. This is the Stoic's paradox. By remembering that nothing lasts, we learn to love more fiercely. By letting go of attachment, we show up with more grace because we know this moment may be the last. And if it is, we'll be glad we truly lived it. And now that brings us to the final habit, one that ties all the others together. The habit that makes wisdom stick, that turns philosophy into practice, that reminds you every single day what kind of person you are becoming. Habit number 8, read to live, not to look smart. In the age of fast content, scrolling headlines, and social media hot takes, deep reading almost feels like a lost art. But for the Stoics, reading wasn't optional. It was essential. Because they didn't read to impress others. They read to become better humans. That's the 8th habit. Read daily, not to sound smart, but to live wiser. Marcus Aurelius read constantly. He quoted other thinkers in meditations. Epictetus told his students to keep their philosophy at hand, not stored on a shelf, but alive in memory and action. Seneca wrote that, "Reading nourishes the mind, like food nourishes the body," but warned that consuming too much too quickly would only make you mentally bloated. So here's what I do. I read every day, not always for hours, sometimes just a few pages. But I read slowly, intentionally. I underline. I take notes. I pause and ask, how can I apply this today? Because if a book doesn't change how I think, how I act, how I treat people, then what was the point? This isn't about speed reading or keeping up with bestseller lists. It's about quality over quantity, depth over display. The rules I follow are simple. If a book is bad, I stop reading it. If a book is good, I share it. I try to find at least one new book inside every old book. I treat reading not as an escape, but as training for the mind and the soul. And here's something even more important. I revisit the great ones over and over, because wisdom doesn't stick after one pass. You have to live with it, wrestle with it, grow into it. The best Stoic texts, like Meditations, Letters from a Stoic, The Enchiridion, aren't books you finish. They're books that finish you. They reshape you over time. So if you want to live like a Stoic, build this habit. Read often. Read well, but above all, read with purpose. Don't just collect ideas, practice them, use them. Let them challenge you, let them guide you. Because that's what Stoicism is all about. Not just knowing the right thing, but doing it. Every day, and there it is. 8 habits. Simple, grounded, transformative. They don't require wealth, or fame, or talent. They require one thing, intention. So take a walk without your phone. Write one honest line in your journal. Push through one more rep. Forgive someone while you still have the chance. And read like your life depends on it. Because, in a way, it does. If this message resonated with you and you want more practical Stoic wisdom brought to life like this, subscribe to Daily Stoic Habits. We post every week. No fluff, just tools you can use. Like Marcus said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Let's keep practicing. Together.